now, which is Employee Wellbeing Made Easy. I hope Kalpana is on the call.
Hi, my name is Jan, and Kalpana is in another meeting, so I'll be presenting it.
All right. Welcome, Janand. The stage is all yours.
Thank you. Let me start sharing the screen. So I'm hoping you guys are able to see the presentation.
Yes.
Okay. So we move on to a slightly related topic. I think I would also thank Aditi and Shushti for giving half the introduction for this topic. We're talking about well-being and how to simplify the concepts of well-being and also make it easy for organizations to understand as well as promote well-being. Right? So well-being itself is a pretty broad topic. So just a quick intro about myself. I work in the SuccessFactors onboarding team. It's human experience management solution, what is also called as HR systems or system software. And I work as a product manager, been working in SAP for some time. And I also enjoy looking at these opportunities of interacting with a lot of minds coming together to look at available technology and how to make things better. With this, let's look at what do we call well-being in general. How do we look at it? What all does it entail, right? So well-being is about the individual, it's about the team, it's about the organization, right? So it is, you would have heard that we tell that there's a healthy mind in a healthy body, right? So that's one aspect. We learn about it at a very young age. But as we grow, then we realize that there are a lot more dimensions to it, right? We also live in the society when we start working or when we are even within our friend circle, then who is around us, their well-being also makes a huge difference. And whether you're a student, the college or the area that you are in, as well as if you're working in the organization that you're working for, who you work with, all of that makes a huge difference into your own personal well-being, right? Because we are social beings and all of this makes a huge difference, right? And as you all already heard, it makes a huge difference to the organization as well, right? Uh, Here are some studies that were done by various organizations which highlight the need to look at well-being and to focus on promoting well-being. See, today we look at individual as the most crucial aspect of or a very important stakeholder within the organization, right? So employees make the organization as much as all of the stakeholders, right? And they are about the most crucial thing which can turn around the organization. Their productivity is important, but that's about the business metric. But beyond the business metric as well, there are far more aspects that we need to look at. So because we live in a social ecosystem, people are very conscious of the impact that they are having on the society. And similarly, the society has an impact on us, right? So we possibly, if you're lucky, spend about 8 hours at work. Some spend more, some spend less. But then the rest of the 16 hours goes into many more things, right? Work is one aspect, and what happens in the other parts of your life impacts your work and vice versa, right? So when we looked at burnout, we looked at the work aspect, how it impacts the individual, and it can affect the rest of their lives, right? But then similarly, you have the aspect of the rest of what is happening also impacting. So we need to look at the entire social ecosystem when we look at well-being. And how do organizations today measure well-being? One way is actually looking at what are the popular studies, academic research, surveys. So there are various ways that we gather inputs, and human beings are 99% similar, but the 1% variation creates each unique individual to be uh, in that way really unique, right? So the circumstances of that individual affect their own well-being. Right? So when you look at health parameters, when we say the average blood pressure, the average heart rate, all of it is average. Nobody is average heart, has an average heart rate or the average blood pressure throughout the day, right? Uh, Nothing is truly a one factor, right? So you look at various factors when you look at general health. The same way, when you look at general well-being, there are various factors, right? So there's a work life, and then there's all other aspects which impact. So you need to measure and look at all of those factors when you look at well-being. So just to give some examples, right? In your work life, you have your career, you have the work that you do, the recognition that you get at work, the contribution you're doing to your customers, to your organization, to your team, to yourself, what you learn, what you feel as growth within your own individual self. Then when you look at your personal life, how good are you able to lead a balanced life in terms of uh, having time for exercise, having time for socializing, how good a sleep are you getting, how many friends you have, uh, how many social activities that you get engaged in, how are you interacting with uh, the political ecosystem. So all of those factors are things that we look at. So if you used apps like uh, uh, you know you have health measuring apps, right? So you would have looked at fitness apps. They look at certain parameters of your health, and then they draw a wellness score or a fitness score, right? But they look at a few and they know that, okay, these are the most dominant factors which affect the personal health, fitness, and well-being, right? But just purely from a health perspective. But then what about how good your family is doing, right? So those are factors which a single app can never measure. Similarly, if you look at our enterprise apps, which capture what happens in our workspace, right? So they capture, if you're looking at an HR system, it captures the HR parameters. Then you look at if somebody is a salesperson, they would be using some CRM system, some sales related transactions that they're doing, all their activities. So that gets captured in another system, right? Uh, Everybody possibly uses some kind of a Groupwell or the email system, a calendar. So that captures to some extent what is happening in their work life in terms of who they are meeting, what they're doing. But then does it really capture everything? I don't think so. Your mobile you carry with you most of the time nowadays, but it also doesn't capture everything. And so you never get all data points from one source. So what all does, let's look into, say, the example of employee data in HCM or the HR system, right? So there's personal data, then there's employment related information, there's how much you get paid, like compensation, how many leaves you're taking or how many sick leaves you're taking, how many educational leaves you're taking, all of those factors, uh, how many holidays you get, and what you're learning, right? Similarly, what are your goals? How well are you doing at that? Are you then if you look a little beyond the HR system, then if you're integrated into other systems, you know how much this person is traveling on business, maybe also traveling personally, okay? What are the kind of financial transactions this person is doing? So it's not always captured, but you can get to some extent all of this data around the individual, right? Who are their dependents? Are they really covered by insurance? What all benefits they get? How much are they commuting? If anybody is in a crowded city, they would spend maybe 1 to 2 hours just commuting, right? And all of these factors add into the well-being of an individual, whether you look at positively or not so positively. So what's the kind of, just to give you a snapshot of the kind of data that can be. So here's just one snapshot of one object, right? A person related information within HR system. Right? So it's not getting deep into this, but this is how you will see that you will have a whole host of data, right? So if you look at any system, you'll have 100 such objects which are capturing all the data associated to the individual. So what do we expect to do is, or you to do is go beyond. Don't just look at enterprise systems, look at data of this individual from every other place, right? You look at their health and fitness data, what they're doing on social media, how are they interacting with other people in different channels, what are they working on. So you can look at all other sources of data, but then please be mindful of certain factors, right? Which is ensure that you're looking at privacy restrictions. The person whose data you're looking at, they can give informed consent so that you are ensuring legal compliance. So what do we expect, right? So we talked a little bit about wellness. We talked what wellness is all about. So we are expecting that you look at all different parameters, what's happening in the individual. Don't just look at sources of surveys and what typical research says. Look at multiple sources of data, as well as look at multiple research thesis, which is possibly academic research, which is done by different universities. You can look at what different studies talk about wellness, but then bring your own thoughts as well, and try to come up with an individual wellness measure, right? The benefit of looking at data from maybe 100 different parameters is you don't know what it throws up, right? When we are looking at burnout, we realize that, okay, there are a lot more parameters, but when you look at well-being, there are even more that you can look at and expand the sources of data. So how do we go about it? Can we simplify and look at individual wellness? Can you really peer into everything about this individual? Possibly no, right? Because you may not be able to get access to all of the data. So you will have to look at aggregated wellness monitoring so that the organization can look at what is the general well-being within the organization or within a group. And you can look at the concept of creating a digital twin for an individual. What do we mean by a digital twin is look at creating a virtual or like an avatar, a virtual persona for this individual, so that you can anonymize this person, but also look at every aspect of this person. Is this person, what is this person working on? Is he really challenged at work? The amount of hours that this person is putting in? Is he really having a healthy lifestyle? What is his typical schedule in terms of his exercise schedule, commute schedule, his sleep schedule, his or her family aspects? How many dependents do they have? All of these aspects. What do they work? What do they do for leisure? What do they do in terms of personal entertainment? What do they do on the weekends? So all of these, provided you are able to access this information, provided you are able to back it up, telling all of these make an impact. So they're both inputs and outputs, right? So the outcome measures, as well as what are the measures which affect well-being, right? So poor health leads to poor well-being, right? But then what else actually affects? Does stress, to what extent affects the person? Is it a linear scale? No. Is too less work good? No. Is too much work good? No. But what is the right amount? That is different for each individual and at different points. Right? So if you try to create a virtual persona, and then try to then look at how is this virtual person different from other similar virtual persons. It's no longer then limited to the team that this person belongs to, or the cohorts actually start changing, right? So you may realize that then you can start comparing these virtual persons across the larger group, and then start creating correlations to see, oh, what are the commonalities? How did this person actually start doing better at something, or start doing worse? And was there somebody else who had a similar transition or changes to their data, right? So if somebody, how many such people who never took leave, right? Do they really get stressed out or burnt out? What are the other factors? Maybe in certain age groups it is different versus some other age group, right? Or different locations. So you don't know what data will actually start showing you, right? And then how you can start predicting the wellness, as well as the aggregated wellness of these individuals, right? So these are some of the things. So we expect a proof of concept where you're looking at the available data from an enterprise system, aggregating it with other sources of data that you can lay your hands on without compromising on privacy or consent requirements, without compromising on any legal compliance aspects, and then empower this person to look at their own individual wellness, as well as the organization to see where do they need to focus on. For if it is the organization who is in need of help, right? Who is in need without really raising any concerns that, okay, you start red flagging somebody, right? So all of those aspects, we expect some kind of a general proof of concept. Okay. So what are the different evaluation criteria? I think this is more from the proof of concept that you develop. We look at how well you've done it, what all you've thought of, the overall design, usability, and implementation. But also we want to ensure that you've done a good proof of concept which actually can be put into real life use. So with this, I would like to pause and look at what questions would you have. Thanks, everyone. So do we have any questions?
Hey, Janand, as of now, there are no questions. So candidates, if you guys have anything, please put it up on the chat and that will be picked up. All right, we'll give it a minute for the candidates to put up any questions if they do have any, and then probably we can move on to the next topic.
I'll then stop sharing. Thank you, everyone.
All right, so we do have our first question, which is, do we have to take the data set which you provided or any other data set?
Yeah, it's not restricted, so you can pick up any data set. What we've given is certain examples so that you get a sense of what is the type of data that is available, right? Or it's only a representative data set. You can pick anything else and come up with your own models. So there's no restriction on that factor.
And just to add, right, like you could synthetically make your own data as well, as long as you see that it is relevant to the employee wellness.
Basically we can take any data set, but it should be close to problem statement.
Yes. See, the thing is, you have to also look at whether you would be able to get that kind of data. That is why we've given that example, right? So you can truly pick up anything, but it should be somewhere correlated, or you can connect it to an employee.
Yeah, no,
right?
like
employee or individual.
No, like
That's what.
my question is, like there are many factors which can affect the employee well-being.
Correct.
So we can take any data set which is affecting the employee well-being and showcase our work. That is my question.
Yes, exactly. You can do that.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. I see one more question, I think.
Yes, there is. So the next question is, there are 7 projects. So for the people who are starting out with data science and have decent knowledge of the data science field, which of the ones should they be picking up?
That I would say is individual choice. Go by what really interests you, right? So you have enough choice. But I don't think it's just pointed to this, right? So you can, it's more, that's the intention of having these presentations for you also, so that you can know a little more about each of them, see what interests you, pick it up, and then you'll really do well in what you, what problem statement really interests you.
We can deploy these models with the help of Python framework like Django or Flask.
Yes, so there's no strict technology restriction. Do anything which you're comfortable with and that you can showcase.
No, like is it mandatory to showcase, or we can just submit the Jupyter notebook of our model? Like,
Sai, what do you think? How
So
do
you
you
should be
expect the
able
submission?
to, so you should be able to give the proof of concept. Like when you're saying that some factor is contributing to the well-being, when you're coming up with the wellness score, you should also be able to demonstrate which all the factors which are important, which all the factors that are not contributing. So for that to have, you should have a demo, right? So you could do it using your Jupyter notebook as well. You could do it based on your any kind of technology that you feel that it could be leveraged on. But the concepts in the terms of the validity of what you want to show, right, as long as you're able to show that, it doesn't matter whether you want to show it like a Jupyter notebook or a standalone Python application, or what he was talking about, whether I will launch a Flask or whatever it is.
like can you please elaborate more about the proof of concept? Like if we are deploying our model in some front-end architecture, then we need to paste some snips of the UI or UX design in that. If we are doing that, like if we
So
are, yeah,
yeah, like for example, you could make sure your Jupyter notebook or whatever, all the code is proper and it's all working, right? Now, how do
okay,
you project it? You could always leverage on Flask and project it. It's not a problem, right? It's not like something deep kind of understanding or
like
it is.
if we are deploying it in some front-end architecture, then we need to add the UI UX
Yeah,
designs, the proof of
yeah.
concept.
Like for example, put a REST API or whatever it is to project post and all that to get and
Okay,
show the
okay.
things, right?
Got your
So that
point.
that
Thanks a
is
lot.
like a at the end it is more of a, so I would call it that is more of this what do you say, you have all your all the cake ready, that is more of the cherry on top of the
Yeah,
cake,
yeah.
or maybe the you
We
do
are
the
just garnishing it. Like
on top.
front end
Yeah.
is just like garnishing it. Basically, you
But
need the
but
model.
this is about heart of the problem. If you're able to address, if you're able to cook that cake properly,
Yeah,
then
yeah.
it doesn't really matter whether you put the sugar coating on top or not.
Yes,
As
yes,
long as the cake that you eat is like really cooked and a good taste, I
yeah.
feel you don't have a problem. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. Thanks a lot. Got your point.
I see one question on uh, how do you ensure the right privacy policy of the company? See, each company would have its own policy, but then generally, when you talk about privacy requirements, there's a consent requirement, and there's an adequate amount of anonymization that you will have to factor in where it comes to personal identifiers, right? So you wouldn't want uh, sensitive data to get leaked out. So look at broad privacy guidelines, but each company's policy, it's not one company's policy, right? So we are not expecting that you look at individual companies' policy. Look at the broad framework. Look at are you violating the law in any way, right? If you're not violating the general law, that is okay. Uh, when it comes to sensitive data, it is usually things like you don't want somebody's Aadhaar number to be looked at, right? You don't want their passport number to be looked at. So those are some what you would call as sensitive information. Do you want somebody to be looking at the age of an individual? Do you want somebody to looking at uh, some other factors which can actually bias opinions, right? So those are things when it comes to personal privacy and individual discrimination risks. So make sure that you're not touching some controversial research and looking at that. But usually, once you start working on it, you'll understand what can be violative of privacy, right? So just to give another example, can you really look at where all a person travels, right, beyond office hours? You could possibly look at, is this person traveling a lot? But where this person went to, it's actually none of the organizations, they
Yeah.
don't really need to know, right? So those are some broad guidelines. Right?
Yeah, just to
That's
summarize in a bit, right? You may not be able to collect the exact value or the text or whatever is the information related to an individual. Okay, you can always anonymize on the personal attributes, and the second thing is you can also collect the insights that you are getting from the data, right? So, and also I pasted this GDPR, the personal data processing principles. Maybe that could be also be a guideline to use.
Yeah, that's actually perfect. So GDPR guidelines are something like a reference material for any law across the world. So you would find that this is like a template which has been used by multiple countries. The Indian regulations also are heavily inspired by the same principles.
So does that answer your question, like Saunak Sinha? Is it okay? Or you wanted something else?
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
So thanks. I think we're exactly at the 30-minute schedule.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Jananda. Thanks, Sai, for summing it up so nicely as well.
Thank you.
Yes, so we'll be moving on to our third topic for the day, which is